Ezra. Okay, so I'm on time this time. Yay! Okay, so we're discussing the next 3 chapters, and we only have 1 chapter after this, so Frankenstein's almost coming to a close. But, I think, did we decide we're reading Interview with the Vampire next? I think we did. Yes. Anyway, there's another book after this, so I'm kind of excited. Alright, so what happened in these next 3 chapters? We left Dr. Frankenstein on the coast of Ireland, and they found a dead body, so they took him into their Irish custody and kind of decided whether or not he was the murderer, and that took quite a few months, so he's been in prison for a bunch of the time. And all the while he's been going insane and getting sick like he has been the entire book. Okay, so after that his father comes and visits him, and then they realize that, oh, he didn't actually kill whoever it was. But just to make sure, we're gonna go show him the body, just see what his reaction is. And when he goes and looks, it turns out that Henry Clerval has been killed, so he laments over his death, and he's like, oh, Henry, my friend, why did I ever leave you, or something like that. So, I don't know, I kind of felt bad for him in that, seeing it's, how could he have known? As far as I know, Henry wasn't traveling with him at the time. He kind of left him in England before he was about to depart for India. So, there was that. And I remember he saw like a brief glimpse of his creation before these chapters. Okay, so he's eventually released from prison, and he goes back to, I found out he's in Austria. I felt really dumb because I didn't know where Geneva was. But anyway, he goes back to Austria, and before he does, actually, he receives a letter from Elizabeth saying, okay, so I really don't want to get married if you're not interested, so that doesn't make any sense. So please tell me, like, what your affections are for me. Or do you think of me as a sister, or do you really want to get married? Is there another that you prefer? And I don't want to take you away from her, because we still have this awesome friendship. But he says, he writes back to her, he's like, no, I'm fine, let's still get married, and things like that. And it's like, oh. But I'm glad Elizabeth had the thought to at least, I don't know if she was trying to dissuade him, or what her motive was. But anyway, that's what happened. So he goes back, and then they discuss it more in person, and they decide, Dr. Frankenstein decides, yeah, I still want to get married. So Elizabeth, if you want to get married, we will. So she says yes as well, and they decide they're going to get married in 10 days. Quite hasty. What happens after that? Okay, so eventually they're married, and then, true to his promise, Frankenstein's creation comes to Dr. Frankenstein's house on his wedding night and kills Elizabeth, and it's really quite horrible because he actually hears the screams of her dying, and then he sees the marks on her neck, knowing that she was strangled. She's just kind of strewn over the bed, and he looks at her, and he figures she could be asleep, but he knows she's dead. So I feel like these were pretty eventful chapters, and those are another few of my favorites. Okay, so one thing that was kind of bothering me while I was reading this was, I have to form my thought, excuse me. He's talking about his own innocence, and then comparing it to Justine's, which I feel like that's not fair at all. Because Justine took the fall for his wrongdoing, if you believe it's his fault because he created Frankenstein's monster. So I personally feel like he is, however indirectly, responsible for the deaths that his creation brought about. Whether his creation was conscious of that or not. I know he is now, because he keeps doing it, he keeps threatening it, he knows what it is. But before. And I feel like it's not, he can't justify his innocence by comparing it to Justine, because she really did not do anything wrong. She died for his cause, because he couldn't be upfront and say, I created this thing, I don't even know how you can possibly bounce back from having the creature kill your brother. But I don't know, I didn't feel like it was a good enough comparison, so that kind of pissed me off a little bit. Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of a short video, because I just had some time between classes. I had like a half hour before I have to go. But yeah, I touched on Elizabeth, like, giving him an out in her letter when he was still in Paris on his way back to Geneva. I touched on that. I thought that was quite admirable. But I'm really sorry that they ended up getting married anyway, because it's still, like you said, I think you said that last video, where it was just kind of weird. It was really weird. Because while she's not a blood relation to him, but she's lived with him all his life. She's practically a sister. So it's gotta be, like, some form of incest if he can. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'm interested in hearing what your thoughts are in these chapters, since you're all caught up now. And, hopefully I'll be able to see your play tonight. I found out I have to leave around 5, so, I don't know, we'll see how that works out. Otherwise, I will try to come Wednesday or Thursday. Probably Thursday, since I have, like, all this time. Alright. I will possibly see you in person tonight, but other than that, I will see you in video form on Thursday. Bye!